Well, hello. Thanks for being here today. I'm Ed Parcaut, host of Real Estate Jerky, the radio show, and then we do these lives on different little things that come up that we want to talk about. And Bobby had an idea about talking about what the difference is between a manufactured home, a modular home, a single family home, and we'll come up with some other homes. But anyway, tiny
Yeah.
home.
Well, the other day when we were talking about ADUs, which is the accessory dwelling units, you touched on that, and I was like, that's something we should probably go more in depth with, because there's a lot of confusion in between manufactured versus modular. Those are sometimes people think those are interchangeable, and obviously they're not.
Right.
Then you have traditional stick built single family residence, and obviously, the financing is different on all those, right? So
It can be, yes. So would you like me to get going?
yeah, I was gonna say I can't talk about the financing, so I was gonna hand it off to you.
All right. Well, I'm not going to get into financing yet. What I'm going to get into is, all right, so a single family home is the home that most people see out there. Basically, it's called a stick built home. Basically, they bring the boards and everything out and they build the house out there on site.
Mm-hmm.
A modular home is basically it's built in a factory and then it is brought outside to the location that you're going to put it at, and it's constructed there, sometimes in panels. So, everything's been pre-manufactured for this house. It's all been laid out in the warehouse, put together, cut up, whatever, and they bring it out and they put it together on site. It's already been designed and put together, so it goes up much faster. What people get confused with is manufactured homes. So what happened is in June 1st of 1976, anyway, we'll move forward. I was thinking Centennial, but you had to be around at that time. Basically what happened is HUD got involved and said, okay, what we knew at that time, which was what most people think a manufactured home is, a mobile home, right? They think those two things happen. Well, a mobile home is pre-76, June 1st of 76. That is the way they built those homes. So when HUD came in and said, these are our new standards. From here forward, they're going to be called manufactured homes. They will have to be built on a permanent chassis to be brought out on site. That's the key, the permanent chassis. Brought out on site and then put into place. That is a manufactured home. Okay, so therefore it's 70. That's why we can only lend on manufactured homes that were built after June of 76, June 1st of 76, period. I don't care if it's single wide, double wide, triple wide, whatever. That's what it is. And in order to lend on it, it has to be real property. That's the other key for us. And that anybody with a residential loan, real estate loan, it has to be real property. How does it become real property? It is put on a permanent foundation on site. So it's brought out. They take off the chassis, they build it on a permanent foundation. They file the 443A, and then now it is actual permanent property, and now we can lend on it as real property. That's the big difference. Okay. If it's not on permanent foundation, say it's in a park, you don't own the land, you lease the land, that is considered a manufactured home. But personal property, like a car, and they are sold through like the DMV and all that stuff, it's funny, but basically that's how that works. There are lenders who lend on those, but there's a lot less lenders who lend on those because it is like a private loan for a car, because it's very hard to come in and repo those.
Well, and I know like the interest rates, I've had people that have wanted to look initially because they're thinking like, hey, maybe we can save some money. I see this mobile home is 120,000 over at this park, right? And then when I start showing them, okay, well, you have your space rent, which is going to go up all the time. So you're kind of, you're still a renter, and then you have your park fees, everything like that. There was one client that I had, and she was looking at that before I sent her to you. And I was like, what, honestly, yeah, well, because
that was a good thing, right?
No, yeah. No, she was looking online, and I said, and so I went over the numbers. I was like, you'd be paying about $2,200 a month, right?
And it's not guaranteed. That's all you'll be paying going forward either.
Well, yeah, it's going to go up. It's so I was like, you can get into a single family home, no problem.
Right.
So
I'm running into people all the time. I was talking to a kid yesterday. I say kid because you're younger than me. And basically they were paying $2,000 a month, and I could get them into a house for $2,200 a month.
Yeah.
So for $200, why not own? They didn't have all the down payment yet, so they're saving and they're working on it. And there are some down payment assistance programs out there, as I keep saying, But like we just showed in our last live, I think on Tuesday, how competitive this market is, it's really difficult to get a seller to accept those when people are writing $69,000 over asking.
Yeah.
Right.
What I was going to say, if people think about real estate as an investment, that's really not the way you want to go. I've seen manufactured homes appreciate, but not nearly at the rate that a traditional stick built home is going to appreciate at. I mean, there's one that
Okay, so we're talking about, all right, so we're back to manufacture. Are we talking permanent foundation or non-permanent foundation?
non-permanent.
Yeah, so let's just get rid of those because we don't even work in. That's not real estate. That is a car, basically. That's what I'll say. You can live in. It's a van, it's a bus that you RV lot. Basically, let's get away from that. So, but as a manufacturer that's on a permanent foundation on a lot or land,
well, that's different.
Yeah, that appreciates. However, it is, and please, I'm going to offend somebody, but it is the ugly stepchild. All right, basically of our industry. Meaning that when we went through our downturn in 2006 and that Great Recession, they stopped lending on them. Couldn't get a refinance, couldn't get a purchase, couldn't get anything. They stopped lending on them because it's different than a stick-built house or a modular house. A modular house is the one that is built in the factory, brought out on site and put together, whether with panelings and different things. That is considered just like a stick-built house, looked at the same way, the same manufacturing, the same everything. So those two get the same rate, same everything. Okay. The manufactured home gets a little bit higher rate because, again, it's more riskier type of loan, period. And that's just how it is. Even though the newer ones that are being built now are like, oh my goodness, this is like a regular house. It still has kind of that same looked at right now.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with getting them.
No, I just, since we're talking about it, I figured I should, I'm trying to let people know, like, a lot of people look at that as an option, especially in this housing market. But let's just, let's try and focus on getting you into a traditional single family.
We're talking about the ones that are not on a permanent foundation. You're saying in this market, people are looking at them because they're cheaper to buy, but they don't realize they have to pay cash for most of them. They don't realize they have to get a loan for half of it and pay cash for the other part. Yes, forget about those. Those are something you shouldn't even look at. But if you're in Tuolumne County, if you're in Calaveras County, if you're in some of these other counties, even Modesto, out in, on an acre or something in certain places or half acre, there could be a manufactured home on that property on a permanent foundation, which is a great investment. Those are different. Stay out of parks, stay out of those kind of things. Those are not what we're talking about. We're talking about the real type of homes. It's just what's the difference in them. If you can buy it, there's a factory now that's building the modular homes out of Patterson, right? And if you look at the different designs, are like, wow, these look like built on site because they pretty much are built just in a factory, put together, made sure it's done right, and they have quality control or whatever. And it's not like, did that plumbing thing get done? I don't know. Did it? They have guidelines. So for me, if you can, if you're going to build a stick built house, you might as well look at the modular side. I'm not talking manufactured. Not talking the manufactured, the modular stuff, because it can be built in the factory, brought out on site, and it's, some of those are done in a week, some are done in a day. It's just it's amazing. So but we actually do loans for construction where we can put and let me just explain this. We can do you buy the land, we can do and then wrap the whole modular thing into the whole construction loan. We can do the same thing for a manufactured home. If you're buying an acreage somewhere and you want to put the manufactured home on there on a permanent foundation, we have the loan that does all that, grading, everything. It's all taken care of. It just takes a while. And right now, manufactured homes are about, 6 months out on building. These are the ones in the factory that are brought out on the chassis. They're behind also. Everybody's behind of wood because everything that we need to build homes.
Yeah.
So did I answer that? It seemed like I was rushing through all that.
No. It's just a lot of information. And, obviously for some people, it might just sound like semantics, but there's a big difference.
Right. So what you need to do is, again, like I keep saying every time, work with professionals so they can explain this to you again. I have no problem explaining it over and over again. I know agents who've been working in this business forever who don't understand the difference between a manufactured home and a mobile home. They still consider, and some people think a mobile home and a modular are the same. And that's because it sounds like they should be, but it's not. Completely different definition and how you can lend on them and what we can do on them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's whatever works for you, to get yourself in that home. Because in this market, renting and buying a home, it's the same challenge.
Yeah.
So you might as well pay your mortgage and not somebody else's.
Oh yeah. Rents, just like purchase prices are just going to places we never thought they would. So,
And I constantly keep hearing from people who are renting, my rent just went up. My rent just went up. And what they don't understand, it's going to be that way because when the government gets involved to help, they usually hurt. And that's what they did with this rent control thing.
Yep.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. And let's not get political today. Okay. I have other days to do that.
Okay.
All right. Bobby, thanks for being here. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, that's it. I really appreciate your time, Ed, as always.
It was my pleasure. And thanks for coming on and doing these. I really appreciate it. If you guys like what we do here, make sure you share and let us know. If you're watching this after the fact, just hit #replay.